You're listening to an Airwave Media Podcast.
This episode is brought to you by Essentia. A better you starts with better hydration. Essentia is on a mission to inspire people to do what matters most. Their proprietary ionization process transforms water from any source into ionized alkaline water, providing water that's 99.9% pure with a pH of 9.5 or higher. Essentia Overachieving H2O, the #1 ionized alkaline water. Shop now.
Welcome to From Beneath the Hollywood Sign. If you love old movies, Hollywood history, or the golden age of filmmaking, you've come to the right place. This is the podcast that talks about amazing stories of Tinseltown from another era and fascinating conversations with writer-producer Steve Cubine and actress-writer Nan McNamara.
So, Steve, did Ava Gardner and Howard Hughes have a good relationship?
Well, they did until he dislocated her jaw.
What?
Well, don't worry. She hit him back with an ashtray.
From Beneath the Hollywood Sign is the gin joint for you.
How's this? I'll ask a question.
What question?
Jazz question. Hey, you get it right. We roll.
I know everything there is to know about Miles. Lay it on me.
Recorded in Chicago, Illinois, with your hosts, Ken, Matt, Neil, and Jeff. This is Triviality. The cream of the crop!
Hello and welcome to Triviality. I am going to be your host today. This is Jeff coming into the studio. Don't get too confused because we're going to have another Jeff in on this game with me today. So joining us is going to be Jeff Bim. He is a trivia host that we have met with in the past, reaching out to people, trying to see what they would like to talk about. He thought he would be good at Always Sunny. So we're going to have him on for this special Lay It On Me episode. Jeff, why don't you tell us what you like about Always Sunny and then tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into trivia.
What got me into Always Sunny right off the bat was it was one of the first sitcoms that kind of broke that like safety zone into let's talk about really kind of maybe out of place or irreverent topics just unapologetically. And I always really liked anything that kind of pushes the edge. But then they also just have fantastic writing and chemistry. So like in a sea of canned sitcom laugh tracks and stuff, like it was a breath of fresh air. So I've been watching it since it first came out. In terms of trivia, how I got into trivia, I started hosting trivia about 6 years ago, 7-ish. I was working for a restaurant at the time and they wanted to do a pub trivia night, but they're like, we don't know who to hire. And I'm like, hire me. I also serve here. I could write some questions and go talk to people in the bar. So that's how I got started. And then I moved to the setup that I have today with the pictures and the music and being in an actual bar and not in a small little restaurant bar.
Okay, and where do you host and what nights can people find you?
You can find me every Wednesday at 8 p.m. in Orland Park, Illinois, at a wonderful Irish pub called the Square Celt. But yeah, every Wednesday from about 8 to 10.
All right, Jeff, are you ready for your questions from Always Sunny?
Lay it on me.
You got it. Question 1. What kind of car does Dennis drive throughout the series?
Oh, it's a finisher car. It's the Land Rover. Range Rover, Land Rover.
Yes. So, Land Rover's the manufacturer, Range Rover's the car. Very weird, but yeah, he drives a Range Rover.
Yeah.
Any casual listener or watchers of the show, he always talks about how he drives a Range Rover. It's one of the things that it's like a part of his identity. He won't let anybody spill anything in the car. He's always very protective, and it's kind of it's part of how he is quite pompous. So, question 2. What is the name of Mac's Jack-like video series?
If I remember, the first one that they show was him riding the bike down the alley with the pyrotechnics, quote unquote, the small firecrackers duct taped to his jacket. That's Project Bad.
That would be Project Bad. Yeah, the several installments of that in the show are really funny. But yeah, you got to have the pyrotechnics. He's got like firecrackers. Yeah, exactly. Duct taped to his duster. Because it's not just a leather jacket, right? It's the duster.
Wear a shirt under the duster, man.
It's not a question for a later one, but the episode where Mac and Charlie die and Dennis starts wearing the duster, Mac gets like really, really upset because he doesn't want anybody else to have the duster. Like he feels it should be burned in effigy.
My favorite part of that episode was when they're trying to blow up the car and it's Charlie holding the popper to Mac's nose while he's wearing a wedding dress, shooting a gun at the car. Just that imagery is like, this is why I love this show.
Yeah, that tends to be one of the most highly rated episodes. Question 3. What was Frank's nickname in the orphanage?
Oh, man. See, because now I'm getting confused, because I know he went to the mental hospital and he had his roommate. No, it was Donkey Brains, because he got the certificate to prove that he doesn't have donkey brains. Actually, I don't know if that was his nickname or just what they call it. But yeah, that's what I'm going to say, Donkey Brains.
All right, so his nickname in the orphanage was Froggy.
I thought it was him, because it was all in his head that it was his roommate. Dang it.
So Donkey Brains is, if I'm not mistaken, I know what you're getting at with that. That was a fictional story he was using to try and guilt everybody into feeling bad.
In the episode, The Cereal Defense, Charlie, his lawyer, said that eating cereal in the car is something someone with donkey brains would do, and Frank has a certificate that says does not have donkey brains.
That's all right.
He went to the mental hospital, had him give him a certificate that he's not donkey brained.
Question 4. In the episode Dennis Reynolds: An Erotic Life, what 2 celebrities does Dennis hallucinate when he believes he's in a mental hospital?
That is Sinbad and singer of Matchbox 20, Rob Thomas. Sing him something, Rob. Shut up.
Yeah. So in my answer, I have very specifically Sinbad and Matchbox 20 frontman Rob Thomas.
Ever since the song came out, and this is kind of off Always Sunny topic, but ever since the song came out, I always refer to the full title of the song "Smooth" by Santana featuring Rob Thomas of Matchbox 20. Whenever I say the name of that song, I say the entire title of that song. Just way more fun that way.
Question 5. What 2 sets of actors are married in real life from the show, and who are they married to?
Oh, okay. The first ones were Charlie Day and Mary something, aka Charlie and the Waitress. I believe they were married since before the show started, because I remember seeing them on Reno 911 together. And then the other couple, Rob McElhaney and I'm not going to remember her name, but Mac and Sweet D are married in real life as well.
Yeah, so I will give you credit on that one. Rob McElhaney and Caitlin Olsen. And then it's Charlie Day, and you were right with Mary. It's Mary Elizabeth Ellis.
I knew it was a 3-namer. I couldn't pull it.
Yeah, she has a few other credits from film and television, but yeah, she's probably not as famous as certainly as her husband now, because Charlie seems to be popping up all over the place.
I want to say they were a redneck couple that were fighting / couldn't stop making out with each other on Reno 911 way back in the day. Charlie and the Waitress, like they went for a domestic dispute and they kept fighting and making out and fighting and making out.
So far so good. You've gotten 4 out of the first 5, so I think you're on track to survive.
Woo!
Question 6. Which character was not invited to prom in the episode Underage Drinking, a National Concern?
Oh man. From the gang, it must have been Dennis, because everybody else went. Charlie went with that girl that he was consoling. D went with one of the cool boys. So it's either Mac or it's got to be Dennis, because he would be upset that he didn't get invited to prom.
So if you remember right, Dennis was called a creep for liking underage girls throughout the entire episode. And then the hot guy in high school's girlfriend, it was an 18-year-old who approached Dennis. And then everybody told him it was totally cool because she was legal. It was Mac who was very upset that he wasn't invited to prom and invited himself to go stag.
Dang it. All right.
Question 7. I don't think it's arguable that this is Dennis's favorite musician. This artist has hits that includes Valerie and Back in the High Life Again.
As soon as you said Dennis's favorite musician, it's Steve Winwood.
Steve Winwood.
Steve Winwood. I already own the CD. We can't be spending money on CDs I own.
He uses it for calm down music in that episode where he and Mac moves to the suburbs.
Yeah.
I want to say there's an episode where they do like they're in the gym or they do cycle class or whatever, and he tries to force it on the cycle instructor.
Yeah. They go out to the car and then come back and he puts it in during the spin class. He's like, your face.
Question 8. Name 2 of the steps in the Dennis system.
All right. I'm almost positive I could do all 5. So, D is demonstrate value. E is engage physically. The first N is nurture dependence. The second N is neglect. I think neglect. The I is inspire hope, and the S is separate entirely.
I thought this one was going to be too hard.
Yeah.
So I knocked it down to 2, but you're right. Demonstrate value, engage physically, nurture dependence, neglect emotionally, inspire hope.
That's what it
Yep,
is.
and separate entirely. So you're going to get full points for that. I was talking with one of my coworkers the other day. I was just like, all right, so Always Sunny, what's your favorite episode? And he's like, the Dennis system, obviously.
That is a really good. That's the first time that you see Dennis being a complete crazy person when he's like conducting to himself as he's coming up with a plan so that everybody's system works together. That's the first hint that Dennis is an actual sociopath.
That scene where they all run into each other at the pharmacy.
Yeah, that's. What are you doing? I'm buying Magnum condoms for my giant dong.
Question 9. What was the name of Frank's one true love? He once had a feud with his brother over her before they had a falling out.
That would be that's Shadynasty, spelled Shady Nasty.
I like how they show her name in like the marquee because she had a club, and the gang immediately picks up on the fact that it says Shady Nasties, like despite the fact that they clearly can't see his flashback.
Yeah. Wait. Her name's Shady Nasty?
Question 10. What was the name of the gang's wrestling trio in the episode "The Gang Wrestles for the Troops"? Obviously, I couldn't write this without writing a wrestling question for my other co-hosts. So,
all right. Let me dig this one out of my brain. I remember everything about it, what the actual name that they use. I know that Pigeon Boys and Chicken Boys were both kicked around by Charlie because he keeps yelling Pigeon Boys. I know they're dressed as eagles with the, like spray-on six-pack.
The spray-on six-pack is my favorite part.
And they were so worried about their intro, Prey or Birds of War. I think it's Birds of War.
It is Birds of War.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was like Eagles or something like the Eagles.
Eagle. I believe it's like Eagles Soar Through the Night or something in their intro song. Do you remember what Frank and Rickety Cricket's names were in that episode?
I remember Rickety Cricket was dressed up as a terrorist. AKA his approximation of a terrorist. So it's a Middle Eastern person with pocket sand that he'd throw at people.
That one I had to look up myself. He was the
Talibum. I should have figured that one out.
Do you remember what Frank was?
Frank was the trash man.
He's like eating garbage. Question 11. Which professional wrestler guest stars in that episode as the Maniac?
The Maniac is played by Rowdy Roddy Piper.
Rowdy Piper. Yep.
So he's got a bucket of chestnuts in the back of his car. He's just eating chestnuts.
May he rest in peace.
Thank God Ric Flair's still hanging on.
That's right.
Did you see his tweet? I'm not dead, mother effers.
No, I haven't.
I'm still here. I'm not dead.
Yeah, I'm sure Matt and Neil saw that. Question 12. What is the name of Charlie's musical?
So this is another one like the Frank's nickname one. I'm gonna get caught up because I think I'm gonna overthink it. If I remember correctly, it's the same as the title of the episode, which would be The Nightman Cometh.
I'm also fairly sure that it's The Nightman Cometh.
Yeah. I couldn't think, like, for a second, I'm like, wait a minute. I know that that's the name of the episode, and I know that episode is spectacular. I've watched it so many times that if I had missed that...
I don't want to say too much about that episode.
Yeah.
If anybody I think that's probably an episode where you could just watch it without having too much knowledge of It's Always Sunny and enjoy it.
Yeah, that's definitely an episode that if anybody says, I've never seen this show, I said, you should watch this episode immediately.
Right.
There's only like a little bit of backstory needed. Well, and I guess like not really spoilers, but just the relationship with the waitress. But that's like my Blink for Doctor Who. I don't know if you watch Doctor Who, but whenever
I think Blink is honestly, if I could rate individual episodes of television,
yeah,
I would always make sure that Blink was in the top 10. Like I don't even know what the rest of the list looks like, but Blink has to be in the top 10.
Yeah, for sure. It's exceptionally well written.
All right, on to 13. What actor plays Country Mac in the episode Mac Day?
Oh, now I have to remember his name. He is Stifler. He was in one of my favorite, most underrated comedies of all time, Evolution. I'm pretty sure it's a 3-namer as well. Sean Scott.
Sean William Scott.
Yeah, is that it?
I'll give it to you. Yeah, Sean. I'm sure he could go by Sean Scott. So, question 14. What is the name of Sweet D's rapper boyfriend who the gang mistakenly believes to be mentally challenged?
Sweet D's rapper boyfriend's name is Lil Kev, because maybe he has a little arm or a little foot or something. It's Lil Kev.
Yeah, Lil Kevin. Yeah, I forgot about they're trying to rationalize why he would be called Lil. Like completely not understanding that that's part of like the whole, part of the rapper culture.
Yeah, so, part of the culture.
Touching back, question 15. We're gonna talk about one more of my favorite episodes.
All right.
And I'd like you to name 2 of the 3 rounds in Charty McDennis, the Game of Games.
Okay. Round 1 is okay. I believe that it goes mind, body, spirit, and the first one is trivia and puzzles, and the second one is physical challenges, and the third one is they just make fun of D. But
yep, I'll give you full points on that. It's so mind is trivia, puzzles, and artistry.
And artistry,
right? Body is physical challenges, pain, and endurance. And then spirit is emotional battery and public humiliation. As a bonus, how is it decided if the game ends in a tie?
Oh, they pull the black card, and the card tells them to flip a coin. My favorite part of the entire Charty McDennis, the 2 episodes that they focus on that. Maybe I won't get into it. Just the spoiler alert of what happens at the end of the second one when they're in the hospital and they're like, hey, you okay? Everything good? And then they crush, they smash it still.
All right, well done. So out of a possible score of 15, you got 13 right. So woo! I think you'll probably be spared the bullet. Thank you, Jeff, for coming on.
Hey, no problem, man. It was my pleasure. Anytime you want to ask me Always Sunny questions again, I will always be up for it. Anything else you wanted to mention in closing? I know you already talked about where people can find you. And that's Wednesdays at the Square Celt, 8 p.m., if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah, that's correct. If you ever find yourself in the southwest suburbs and you want to come hang out, I host every Wednesday at the Square Celt. And you could always come and just bother me. And if you tell me that you came to my trivia night because of the Triviality podcast, I will give you one crisp high five. And then we could continue talking about trivia. Awesome. Well, thanks again for joining me, Jeff. I appreciate it. I'm glad that you can return home to your family now. And yeah. The son's walking around with light bulbs. Like, what is happening? Yeah, it'd be terribly unfair to rob him from you with Tom Cruise. So on behalf of Ken, Matt, Neil, who are not here, and just myself, that was Triviality.
DJ Fat Michael! Yo! Squirrely D! Oh yeah! Will you please play my dance for a dance challenge? That's a can do, my brother. So let me tell you a little lesson, buddy. The cream always rises to the top. And I'm about to show you the white hot cream of an 8th grade boy. Oh my God. Play the tape. You gotta be kidding me.